everyone, we are back today, the first time from Happy Bond. Happy Again Pet moved to a new website and a new name, which is happybond.com. So I hope you can check it out. Fernando is super excited about it because there's a lot of information for him on it, and also a lot of bonding moments where he can go, for example, to Paris with me. So that's exciting. I hope you check it out. But today, with our first time being Happy Bond, we have an exciting guest, and it's a really, really interesting topic and very, very important if you own a dog. We will have Scott from Spot Pet Insurance to talk about what you need to make sure your pet is insured and in the best hands. So let's see if Scott is already in the waiting room. If not, I'll talk to you a little bit more about Fernando and his last week. He had a great week. He was gone on his beach walks, keeping himself fit. And that's bringing me back to Happy Bond, where we are really into the whole health. So we're taking care of the nutrition, obviously, but also of their body, of their mind, and of their play and activity. Very important. But now I see that we have Scott joining us. Hi, Scott. Can you hear us? No? Hello? Can you hear us? We can see you, but we don't hear you. Okay. Scott, can you hear us? Here.
How about now?
Now.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can see you. Yes, perfect.
Great, great. I had a poor connection suddenly.
Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, that can happen.
And Spot.
So I already introduced you. Oh, that is our Chief Tasting Officer Fernando. So I already introduced you to our listeners and introduced Spot, but let me start with you telling us what you do for Spot, and if there's a personal story how you started. Like my story was starting because of my dog Tony, that I started to get into the pet business. So now how did you start with pet insurance?
Well, I was in the life and health insurance business for nearly 20 years with Transamerica, a big insurance company. And I learned about pet insurance. I never thought of leaving the job I had, but pet insurance sounded so cool. It was a growing business. It was taking care of animals. You can have dogs in the office. It was just, it seemed like a fun career change. And I started 5 years ago with a pet insurance company, and then recently was contacted when Spot launched this year about being the president, and it was just a fantastic opportunity to work with a top-rated pet insurer, to work with Caesar, and we just got one of the best value propositions in the pet insurance industry. So it's been a really great year. We're off to a great start and excited for the future.
That sounds wonderful. Well, I know this industry is great because we can spend so much time with these fantastic beings.
For sure.
And I think it's really important for everyone to think about your dog's health like my first dog died with cancer. So I was happy to have an insurance to cover all these costs. And if you get a new dog, like a puppy, I mean, Fernando is super young, so he's very healthy. We're keeping him active and healthy, but it's just, there will be so many issues coming, and it's so fantastic if you have that covered by the right insurance. But as we know, only 2% actually of dog owners have their pet insured in the US. So that's a very small number when we look at that we have more dogs than children in the US. So tell us about Spot and why is your health and your pet insurance different to others?
Yeah, you know, one of the things that's important about Spot is we've got a great accident, illness, and preventive care product. Our underwriter is United States Fire, so the insurance carrier behind us. And they're the second oldest pet insurer in the nation. And they've been writing pet insurance policies for over 20 years. And what that means is that we have very stable rates. So you won't see huge rate increases with Spot. We've got a really great core insurance company behind Spot that's underwriting our coverage. They know how to price it accordingly. That's the important takeaway. So there's some other new insurers that are coming into the business, and that they may not get the pricing right. You might find high rate increases over time with those insurers. And then their product, they've had 5 different versions of the product that Spot uses for pet insurance. And this is by far the most complete. It covers accidents, illnesses, and then you can add 2 different preventive care levels. And it's super easy to get. All you need is to go online and get a quote and see if it's for you. That's at spotpetins.com. And once you get on there, you pick your own, you'll see different versions of accident, illness, and preventive care. And you select what's best for your budget, your cute little puppy's individual needs. And based on their age, you can really determine what's the best combination of price and benefits for you. Okay.
That sounds super simple. Fernando, you have to calm down a little bit. Sorry, he's very much into the treats, right?
he sure is. Yeah.
So, but let me get back to, you mentioned Caesar. So Caesar that's actually how we met, because we're both partners with Caesar, and that makes your insurance different too, because you teaching through Caesar as your partner, you're teaching your policyholders about dog training and how to have them behave and listen and communicate with your pets. Why is that important to a pet insurance?
You know, it is so important, Anja, because most of the pet insurers out there are really focused in on just the core insurance component. And Spot has that. Spot has a great insurance product, but there's really no one in the marketplace that's focused in on training the pet parent. And so many of the pets that get returned to shelters is because they can't make that bond between their pet and the pet parent. And that's what Caesar does. You know, Caesar, that's why he's such a great chairman for Spot, because he brings that attention to the behavioral aspects of Spot and the holistic pet health care. Because, you know, so many dogs get in accidents by running out in traffic if they're not well trained, counter surfing, eating things they shouldn't if they're not well trained. So Caesar's message really is about the holistic pet health, and having him as our spokesperson on the behavioral side really makes us different than the other insurers, because though we've got a great core insurance product, just bringing attention to how important behavior is and what Caesar does is why we really love partnering with Caesar and having him part of the company.
Yeah, I think that totally makes sense, because you want, and that's what we do at HAPPYBOND too, to not only look at the nutrition, also about the health with their mind, to keep them stimulated and socializing, and also training them and exercising them, because it's like a whole health system, and that is important for your insurance holders as well, because we're trying to avoid to go to the vet.
Yeah, we're the 3 of us, Caesar and you and your company Happy again are are really well aligned in looking at just the overall health and wellness of the pets, which is fantastic to have that alignment.
Yeah. So talk to our listeners about how expensive is it actually to have an insurance? Because I think that is one big problem for many pet owners, that they think it's really expensive to insure your pet, and it's complicated, and then you don't cover it. As you said, you already touched on that your insurance does. But is there like an example? If I would have Fernando to be insured, he's 3, healthy. Is there like a base?
Yeah, you know, the best time to get pet insurance, Anja, is when the pets are young, because it get more expensive as they get older. Mm-hmm. So when I really encourage people when the pets are young to get pet insurance there, because no pet insurer covers pre-existing conditions. So if you get pet insurance when your dog's 5 or 6 and they've got allergies or something like that, that wouldn't be covered. So you really want to get pet insurance early on, and that's when the prices are less expensive, and and then you can add in, you know, if it's a young puppy, you can add in preventive care, which would include spaying and neutering. There's 2 different levels of that. And the pricing in general varies by, age of the pet, breed, your zip code, whether it's a dog or cat, because we cover cats too. And that's all you need to put in to get a quote from us. And then that'll spit out a price for you that includes accident and illness. You might have an old, and that's, you know, it's hard to give a range, because, you know, cats are much less expensive than dogs are generally, and different breeds have different costs associated with them as well. It was surprising to me when I first got in the pet insurance business that mixed breeds actually are lower cost than some of the purebreds. So bulldogs, unfortunately, are typically some of the more expensive, because they have a lot along with them from, you know, hereditary and congenital stuff. So and it can be very expensive. So that's why pet insurance is so critical. You know, I have it for my lab, and he's 5 years old, and we pay about $60 a month for him, but we've got, you know, the best coverage you have. And I think that's the neat thing with our plan, is you can kind of pick which option is best for you.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I know bulldogs they tend to have a lot of health issues. Fernando is really, really a healthy bred bulldog. So unfortunately he's
it's all those treats you're feeding him, keeping him happy and healthy.
Yes. He's only eating the best though. And he's going on long walks every morning. So he's in very good shape. He's training for the Bulldog Derby 2021.
Wow.
And we hope we will win, right?
Well, we know Caesar. That's one of the things that Caesar really talks about too, is how important it is for exercise and to walk your dog. That's one of the key things to have a well-trained and well-behaved dog, is you keep them tuckered out.
That's true. And also communicate with him. I mean, like just this bonding time with your pet when you're walking them. I know many people think if they have a huge backyard, they can just let the dog run out and that's it. But it's stimulating their mind when you walk them, and it's bonding you and the pet together and have this experience together. That's
absolutely true.
So since you're partnered with Caesar, do your policyholders get like monthly updates or training tips, or how does that work when I sign up with you?
Yeah, so we allow our customers to submit questions to Caesar, and he selects a few questions. I think we're doing it every other month now, where he'll, you know, pick 4 or 5 questions, and then, you know, do kind of a FaceTime, a video of his answers, and we post them on our various accounts. We're always doing blogs with training tips and leveraging his message and his training techniques as part of what Spot offers.
That's fantastic. We should go to a training course there too, so you don't have to.
Yeah, When I took the job, I my our lab wasn't very well behaved. He would, bark at the mailman, jump on people. So I said to my wife, I said, you know, as part of taking this job, I'm going to make sure I get a half hour with Caesar to work on, Stone and how to make him, a better pet. Well, it wasn't his fault. It was because we were bad pet parents. We didn't walk him enough. We were, he told us how to get him a treadmill when it's cold. Just really, the other thing was we would yell at him when he was barking. And that's not one of the dog's primary communication devices. So when you're yelling at him, he's just hears you barking back at him, where it's really hand signals and other forms of communication that the dog will understand. So it quickly became clear that we had opportunities to be better pet parents, and it wasn't so much Stone's fault that he was misbehaving.
Yeah, we had that experience too with Caesar. And it was, of course, not his fault, but we had some issues with passing skateboards and strollers. So we had some sessions too, but it's much better now.
That's good. That's good.
So we're happy to do that, and it really works. So I can really recommend to look at his programs and follow that, because it's sometimes so easy and simple when he says it that you think about like, oh, I could have come up with that myself. But it's just good to hear that. Well, let's get back to your insurance. How do people get the insurance? They just go to your website and fill in that form, and then they get a quote. And how long is that process to be insured? Like if I have a healthy pet now, I want to sign up today. How long will that take that I can use the insurance actually?
Yeah, so it takes about 30 seconds to get a quote. And as I mentioned, it's spotpetins.com. And you can go to the website and plug in the items that I mentioned earlier. And within 30 seconds, you can get a quote, and then you can customize your coverage at that point. If you have questions, we've got licensed representatives waiting for your call. And you can call our 800 number that's on the screen on the quote page, and they can help you. It's super easy to do yourself, but they're there to help you answer any questions about coverage. And they can then, based on receiving your email, because you put your email in for when you get a quote, they can follow along with you and then help you finish the quote online with them. So super easy from a digital standpoint. You can join by your phone. You can join from your tablet, from your desktop. Mm-hmm. And then if you have any questions, you can call the call center.
And then the next day, he's insured?
Yeah, so there's a 14-day waiting period for accidents and illnesses.
Okay.
And then for preventive care, so if you selected one of our preventive care plans and he had to go to, you want to get his teeth cleaned, or you wanted to go to, spaying and neutering, or any of that thing, that can be next day. But there's a 14-day waiting period for accident and illnesses, because it's part of the insurance world. It's relatively typical. You don't want someone to have someone that's they suddenly tear an ACL, their dog tears an ACL, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to get pet insurance and get it covered. We have to wait a few days so that we don't have adverse selection, is what they call it.
Okay. Well, 14 days is not too long.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
I'm going to open up for questions now too. If any of our listeners have a question for you for the insurance. Also, you mentioned preventative. Is Spot covering preventative care? Like even if it's like alternative stuff?
So we cover under our accident illness plan, we cover alternative therapies. We do things like really neat stuff like stem cell therapy as well. Very, very complete product. Mm-hmm. For preventive care, it works on a schedule basis. So you pick either the 1095 version or the 2495 version, and you add it on to your plan. Mm-hmm. And the 1095 version is basically if you if you just want to get your annual shots done, things like that, that's covered as part of that. And then the more expensive version is for like spaying and neutering and teeth cleaning and things. So you really have to decide. You might get the more expensive version of preventive care when your pet's young and you need all the shots and spaying and neutering. And then for an older dog, you might want to just get the 1095 version, or you can certainly get just the accident and illness, or also, we had one of our customers got 10 policies for her collies because she's a collie trainer, and they go to shows and do training, and she was really concerned about them getting into accidents. So she just got the accident only plan, which was relatively inexpensive for all 10 of her dogs. So if they break a leg or they tear an ACL or they eat something they shouldn't have, then they're covered. So that's the neat thing about the product, is because you can customize it. You don't have to take illness with accident, or you can have accident and illness together.
Wow,
I see we've got a question from Sean. So the approximate age, Sean, is fine. We just asked you to do your best guess. Sometimes the vets will, in their records, will try to give you an age estimate. So not critical to have the exact age, but it would have to match up with whatever the vet says. Yeah.
Okay. And we have
prescribed supplements are good, and it has to be prescribed by a vet is the next question there.
Okay.
So it's really anything that's prescribed by the vet. Another cool thing that made me think of something here recently, with the pandemic, a lot of the vets are closed or doing curbside or mobile vets, and we provide that coverage. So mobile vet coverage as well as virtual vet visits are covered. So that's a nice unique thing about Spot Pet Insurance. Also, we have a 24/7 vet helpline. So if you have questions, if your dog is not himself, you might call that helpline or chat with the helpline to see if it's necessary to go into that, because it's so hard to get appointments with vets right now because they're so backed up with just the challenges that the pandemic and some of the natural disasters, forest fires and things like that in California have caused.
That's true. Do you get a discount if you mentioned that this woman had 10 dogs? Do you get a discount if you add more than one dog?
That's a great question. We have a multi-pet discount. So the first pet you pay full premium, and then for additional pets you get 10% off. Okay,
that's good to know. We get 5 more Bulldogs.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it's great. It's great when you've got a really well-trained pet, because then when you get the next pet, you can learn from the older pet. So I think you're due for a couple more Bulldogs.
Good. Oh, we would love that. I have another question. Are you covering horses too?
We are testing horses, and we will hopefully have that in place sometime in 2021. But we're testing in about 16 states right now. It's not available to everyone right now, but hopefully will be in the near future. And that would be your backyard ponies and general recreational horses, not like race horses and things like that, but definitely.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I had sport horses in dressage, and that's quite expensive to go to the vet.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So good to know. Fantastic. Well, if we don't have more questions, I would say that we will send out a reminder if you missed this. We recorded it and send it to all our subscribers, and also check out Spot Health Insurance, and it's spotpetins, right? .com.
Spotpetins.com.
So check it out, get your quote today, and then I know that you're getting right away some tips from Caesar. Now Fernando is falling. So that with a quote, which is exciting, and I hope that we soon gonna meet in person.
Look forward to that. Thank you for having me on today. Really enjoyed talking with you.
The same. It was great to learn more.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now, Anja.
Bye.